talk, one of my goals, the goals of doing these talks and putting them on Facebook, is I want to make Lincoln a healthier community. I want to make our community, I want to just make it healthier, and I want people to function better. So let me ask you a question. How many of you believe that emotions affect health? Yeah, really dumb question, right? Okay, so have any of you ever had the situation where you just miss getting in a car accident, or something happens to you and you feel that flutter in your stomach? So what part of the nervous system is that? Nobody knows? Autonomic nervous system, okay? Part of your nervous system that you don't think about. So a lot of the emotions that go on and that are trapped, we're going to talk about, have to do with our autonomic nervous system. Now, the recognition of the relationship between emotions and health, it's been around for a while. D.D. Palmer, who is the discoverer of chiropractic, stated that trauma, toxicity, and thoughts were the three causes of subluxation, which is what we fix in our office. We fix subluxations. And he made that statement in 1895. So way back then, he knew that thoughts could cause problems in the body. Now, sometimes for reasons that we don't understand, emotions don't process completely. Not every trauma that happens to you becomes a trapped emotion and causes problems. But somehow, for some people, the emotions become trapped in the physical body. So instead of moving beyond your angry moment or your temporary bout with grief or depression, this negative energy can remain in your body and cause physical and emotional stress. So most people are amazed to find this emotional baggage is more real than they imagine. And trapped emotions have a well-defined energy with shape and form. We're going to find out. Certain emotions actually exist in particular organs. So people frequently sense that they're burdened by their past, but they don't seem to know how do you get past it. So trapped emotions can cause you to make wrong assumptions, to overreact to innocent remarks. Anybody ever seen anybody do that? Yeah, you go, what's what I say, Now, no patting the husband.
I told him to raise his hand.
Okay.
I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to commit.
It can cause short-circuit relationships. You ever see these people, they're just in and out of relationships, just one right after another. They just can't have a steady relationship. That's definitely trapped emotions. They can create depression, anxiety, and other feelings that are hard to shake. And they interfere with the proper functioning of your body's organs and causing chronic ill health. And trapped emotions can keep you from living a vibrant life. So what causes trapped emotions? It can be loss of a loved one, divorce or relationship issues, financial hardship. Anybody ever seen like people that grow up in poverty and they just can't get past that? I mean, you see that a lot. That's a trapped emotion. Home or work stress, miscarriage or abortion. I see this causing a lot of problems in women. A lot of health issues in women. Physical trauma, physical emotional combat, PTSD, physical, verbal, mental, or sexual abuse, negative beliefs about yourself or others, long-term stress, rejection, and feelings of inferiority. Now, not all of these, you can experienced that. I mean, we've all had work stress. That doesn't necessarily create a trapped emotion. But if it's just ongoing and you can't deal with it and it just becomes part of your life, then it is an issue. You know, some of us had some physical trauma. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get a trapped emotion out of it. But I've seen people that have had automobile accidents, never really got past it. You know, just kept coming back over and over again. So Reiki Hamer, you've heard me talk about him before. He was a German physician who discovered how emotional trauma affects our health. And the reason that he found that out was he had a son that was murdered. This was back in the 80s, early 80s. And shortly after that, or about 6 months after that, he developed testicular cancer. And he'd always been healthy, never had a problem. And he was cognizant enough to realize, hey, there must be a connection between the emotional trauma that I experienced with my son's death and what's happening to me now. And so he started researching his patients, and he found that a lot of his patients that had had histories of emotional trauma had gotten cancer in certain areas. And then the ones that he could get, or the ones that had MRIs, he noticed that there was a specific spot in the brain associated with each cancer that he came across that was different, okay? And so he was able to pinpoint the emotion, and he was able to correlate 100% between the dark spot in the brain, the location of the cancer in the body, and the specific type of unresolved conflict. So what do you think happened to him? Anybody? He ended up losing his license for a while, you know, because who was doing this in the 80s? You know, he was in Germany, and the German medical system just came against him because they just couldn't believe, they couldn't accept that what he was doing worked. And it was the same thing, you know, he's going against orthodoxy, and he lost his license. He had a hard time with the German medical community. So some of Reiki Hamer's disease, emotion, organ relationships. Cancer of the left breast, the conflict involving a child, home, or mother. Cancer of the right breast, conflict involving partner or others. Liver, starvation of love. Liver can also be anger. It can be anger or starvation of love. Pancreas is unresolved family issues. Who's one of the most famous people in the last 15 years that has died of pancreatic cancer? Anybody know? Anybody remember? Steve Jobs died of pancreatic cancer. Now, one of the interesting things about him is he had an illegitimate child, I think it was a daughter, that he would not acknowledge. And so there's this constant conflict going on in his life. He ended up with pancreatic cancer, and he died of that. Stomach and small intestine is indigestible anger. Thyroid, feeling powerless. Large intestine, deceit and betrayal. And sometimes I wonder, you know, these people that get colonoscopies that wind up with cancer of the colon, if you went back into their life, and how much of this you would find. Kidneys is abandonment. Gallbladder is bitterness and resentment. Ovaries and testicles is loss by death or leaving. So he found out that there was a pretty strong correlation there, very strong correlation. So our subconscious mind is a storage area for everything that we've ever experienced. So there's nothing that we've ever experienced that isn't stored in our subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind is also aware of what your body needs to get well. So what we think of consciously is like this tip of the iceberg that pokes above the surface of the ocean. But down here is all the things going on in our subconscious mind. And our subconscious mind really has a much greater impact on our behavior and our thoughts and our feelings than we could ever imagine. Trapped emotions are made up of energy, just as energy makes up our bodies and everything else in the universe. So they can remain in the body for years. And you can accumulate different trapped emotions if they're not healed. Every feeling, every thought, every emotion that we experience sends a message to each cell in our body. Some messages are more intense and deeply seated, but each cell is affected negatively or positively. There's a book out right now, I know some of you may have read it. It's been on the New York Times bestseller list for like 360 weeks. It's called The Body Keeps the Score. Anybody ever heard of that book? I've got it in my library. I read it a while ago. It's been probably a year and a half since I've read it. But that the whole book is about this, how the body keeps a score of all the emotional stuff, all the trauma that we experience. So resolving deep-seated emotional conflicts helps us to think and feel the same thing. When we think one thing but feel another, we're in conflict. Now, I'm going to do a demonstration on that here in a minute. So this is quotes right out of the Bible. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Anybody remember what book of the Bible that's out of? Nobody? James. As a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. Remember that? Remember where that's from? Book of Proverbs. Okay? When we feel one thing and we think the same thing, we are functioning our whole brain and we are no longer at war. So, the Christian leader said these words, which I think is pretty interesting. God works on a person from the inside out. The world works on a person from the outside in. The world would take people out of the slums, but God takes the slums out of the people. They take themselves out of the slums. The world would mold men by changing their environment. God changes men who then change their environment. Anybody disagree with that or agree with it? Yeah. Okay. So when we release trapped emotions, we allow people to change from the inside out. So we're going to do some demonstrations. One is a sway test. Anybody ever done that test before? You know about that? Okay, good. So everybody stand up. Okay. All right. So close your eyes. And I want you to think of something negative in your life. Just think it. And pay attention to how your body moves. Now I want you to think of something very positive in your life. Okay? What did you notice? Anybody?
Positive moves forward, negative moves back.
Okay. Did anybody notice that when you were thinking negative thoughts, your body just sort of swayed backwards? And when you were thinking positive thoughts, your body moved forward? Because positive things pulls you forward in life, negative things pulls you backwards. Okay. Anybody else notice that?
Yep.
Okay, you noticed it? Okay. Good job, Anna. You noticed it? Okay. Good. You can go ahead and sit down. Okay, so we're going to do another demonstration. I need a volunteer. Okay, Randy, come on out. Okay, turn around. You're going to take your glasses on for me? Let me see if you gotta be testable for this.
Oh,
Scoot towards me just a little bit, just right, just like this. Like, turn around. There you go. Okay, resist when I push down. Okay, I'm just gonna touch you right here, resist. Oh yeah, you're really testable, which is good. So when you touch somebody right here, should make a strong muscle weak. It's called a polarity point, okay? I don't know why it does that. I don't know why the body's made like that, but it is, okay? So, pull this up. Okay, resist. Okay, so, hold it strong. Say, my name is Randy.
my name is Randy.
Okay. You stay strong. Okay. Say, my name is Susan.
My name is Susan.
So it goes weak. Because, see, his subconscious mind knows that he's not Susan. Okay.
Amen.
Okay. Okay, hold it up. Resist. Okay. Now, say, I'm a disc jockey.
I'm a disc jockey.
Strong as a rock. Now say, I'm a 747 pilot.
I'm a 747 pilot.
No, he's not. Okay? So your body knows what's going on. Okay? Go ahead and sit down. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Now, we're going to do an emotional release example. You want to come on up? Is that okay?
3 years.
Can you take your jacket off for me? Since you volunteered before. So we're going to go back to, okay, 1 minute. Right there. Okay. Come on up over here. Okay. Face this way. Okay. Can we take your glasses off? Pull this up. Okay. Resist. Let touch here. Resist. Sort of testable. Okay. Let's try it again. I want you to just, I want you to say, my name is Hannah. Can you say that? Okay, good. Say, I live in Rome, Italy. And no, you don't. Okay. Okay. Say, I live in Hastings. Yes, you do. Okay. Now, I want you to say, just say this. It's okay for me to be whole and healthy.
It is okay for me to be whole and healthy.
Okay, resist. See how weak she got? So her subconscious mind is saying it's not okay. So we're going to see if we can fix that. Okay? So I just want you to think about that. Think about being whole and healthy. Just think about it. You have to say it. Just think it, okay? So resist. And that weakens her. Okay, just keep thinking it. I'm going to touch your liver first. Resist. Okay. Let's touch your stomach. Resist. That's weak. See, when I touch your liver, it's strong. So there's something going on for the liver and her emotions. Okay, so what's liver? Starvation of love. Could be anger as well. So let's just ask her body. Resist me. Is the problem, is the issue starvation of love? No. Okay. Is it anger? Yeah. Okay. So it could be anger. Now, I'm not going to ask you to tell everybody what you're angry at. Okay. What I want you to do is just think of it. Think of it, what you might be angry about. And we're going to test you. We're going to try and clear this out for you. Okay. Is that okay? All right. Okay. So just, yeah, face this direction. Okay. Resist. Now think about it. Just, you can close your eyes if you need to. Just think about what might be causing you to be angry. Okay, and just shake your head when you got it. Okay, resist. Yeah, that's it. Okay, just keep that thought. When you touch your liver, resist. Okay, good. Hold here. hold here. Step forward just a little bit. Now hold that thought, okay? Okay, what I did was I adjusted the nerve supply to the liver while she was thinking that. Okay. So think of that thought again. Okay. And resist. Okay. Now, it's better. See, it's not weakening her now. Now, I want you to say, it's okay for me to be whole and healthy.
It's okay for me to be whole and healthy.
Okay. So now she's congruent with that. Okay. So in the next day or so, you may, it's possible you could have a good cry. You may have an emotional release. Some changes may take place. Okay. So I just want you to know that. So there's an emotion that you have that you've been carrying around that we cleared. Okay. So we'll see what happens next time I see you. Okay. Okay. Anybody else want to come up and give it a go? Okay. Oh, yeah, you need your glasses. Yeah. There you go.
So does that help with, like, if some young people have so much anxiety, and they're depressed and things like that?
It could, if it's due to a trapped emotion, yes. If it's due to their diet or something like that, which can also produce that, then it may not help. Okay. So, if they're eating a lot of bad food and their insulin's really high and their blood sugar's fluctuating, then that's probably not an emotional issue. It's probably a dietary issue. But yeah, it could help with emotion, sure. Sure. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else want to volunteer? Okay. Don't everybody get up at once, all right? Okay. Any questions about what I just did? Okay. So that is how emotions affect the body. That's how emotions affect your subconscious. And Hannah may experience some things in the next few days, and if she does, that's fine. Sometimes when you release emotions in people, sometimes they cry. This has never happened to me before, but I know of one doctor who did this, and this patient went home and had like severe diarrhea, just getting rid of all this stuff. Okay, and she called and said, should I go to my doctor and get something to stop it? He goes, no, let it go. And then, a couple days later, she just felt wonderful. So some things she was holding in, she had to release. And so emotions, our subconscious mind, very powerful. And these can be a pretty big deal, okay, for people. Okay, I think we're done a little early tonight. Yes?
Okay, so how are you supposed to clear these out? If we come here for adjustments, but what about the other things that are going on in our system that may be, like the thyroid,
Okay.
other things? How are you going to do that clearing if we come to you for other things?
I can. Okay, I don't always do that, but I can.
That's what I wondered.
So did you have a thyroid issue? I don't remember.
Yes, I do.
Come on up. Let's see if it's emotionally related.
Oh, it probably is.
It's probably me.
It's always the husband.
Yes, you should know that by now.
Okay, so let's find out if it's emotional related. So, resist? Okay. Can you take your glasses off? All right. So, let's test her for polarity. Oh yeah, very testable. Okay, resist. Now, touch your thyroid. Okay, touch your thyroid. Okay. She stays strong. Now let's touch her emotional reflex points. Resist. Oh yeah. So there's an emotional issue regarding her thyroid. So Let's do this. Thyroid was feeling powerless, okay? So I want you to think of a time in your life where you felt powerless, okay?
I cry a lot.
Okay.
I'm thinking,
Okay, you got it? Okay, resist. Oh, yeah, yeah, okay. Think of it, resist. Okay, touch here. And touch here. Okay, so hold those 2 points, okay? I want you to think of that time when you felt powerless. Breathe in, out. Okay? Let go. Okay. Think of it now. Resist. Okay. I'm going to touch your thyroid. Resist. Touch emotional reflex points on your forehead. Okay. So that helped clear that out. Okay. Let's see what happens. Okay. And it may be a little deeper than that, but
yes, I
we're
understand.
at least peeling off the first layer.
I go to Glenda, so I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Thank you.
All right, you bet. So that's an example of how we would do that. So we start with the gland or the organ. We go to the emotional reflex points. If there's an issue there, it's going to show up. Then we just work down through the system from there. Okay? All right. Anybody else?
Can I get the slides?
Yeah, sure you can. Yeah, you know. Good. I think we're done then. Yeah, Randy?
So how long can it take to resolve these? I mean, this could take several visits and just consistency, right?
Yeah, it might take several visits. I don't do a huge amount of emotional work in my practice. I'm more nutritional, but I do some, okay? And so, yeah, it can take several visits too. I know chiropractors who the only thing they do is this. That's it. That's all they do, okay? And so, yeah, it can take some time to work through things, you know, and it may take time before you see the changes go on in your life. You know, you just have to give it a chance. But yeah, it may take several visits to work through everything. Okay, good enough. Next week is the last talk of this year, and we're going to do how to interpret your blood work. You know, so if you want to have your blood, if you have blood work that you want me to look at, I'll do it that night, and we'll do it in front of everybody. Okay, but I'm going to teach you how to do that. What do all those numbers mean? What do the combinations of those numbers mean? So we're going to talk about next week. So if you're interested in that, it's a great talk because, you know, a lot of people bring me blood work. They have no idea what any of the numbers mean except maybe glucose. You know, and they know if that's high, that's bad, and it is bad. Okay, so if you want me to look at that and interpret that in front of everybody, I'll do that, and we'll just figure some things out, and I'll teach you as best as I can in 1 half-hour class how to interpret and how to analyze blood work. Good. All right. Thanks a lot for coming tonight.